We all know that parents are supposed to help you and care for you. They are known to be some of the best people around you. But what if I told you some parents are so cruel, they get compared to literal villains? Today we are going to be taking a look at world's creepiest parents. So make sure to like and subscribe if you love playing Roblox. This first creepy parent was a mom that sat on her son so badly, he passed.
The woman who sat on her son and crushed him to death, Jennifer Wilson. One day, the son ran away to a neighbor's house and Jennifer Wilson reported it to the police. After reporting the police, the son was then returned home. After the mother and son were alone, the son was acting up and throwing himself on the ground in front of the house. Because the son was complaining, the 340-pound woman...
Wow! This would have meant the mom is way bigger than the son. That would have made the experience way more creepy for me, to be honest.
Then sat on top of her 90-pound son and was crushing him to death. The woman apparently thought the son wasn't really dying and she thought he was faking it the whole time, until she got up and noticed that his eyelids were pale. The woman was sitting on her son for at least 5 minutes straight. The son was not breathing and he didn't have a pulse, and was taken to the hospital, but was taken off of life support 2 days later. Before his death, the son said that the mother was abusive and would slap his face, and the mother wasn't his biological mother, it was his foster mother.
This is really sad because this means that his foster mom is abusing him. This would really upset me if I was the biological mom, knowing my child isn't safe.
The whole thing was caught on camera, and all you can hear is the boy screaming in pain. Jennifer Wilson was soon arrested and is only facing up to 6 years in prison.
Only 6 years is kind of crazy considering she oofed this poor boy. In my opinion, for something like this, she needs 50 years or life sentence. And if the mom did this, I wonder what other things she did when no one was looking. But I don't think it compares to this next creepy story. These next parents are considered some of the worst parents in the world. I don't know about you guys, but I would hate to have a title like that.
Parents that we're mentioning in this slideshow are probably one of the worst parents you'll ever have heard of. This slideshow starts off with an image showing the parents, David and Louise Turpin. David and Louise's entire family consisting of 13 children.
13 children is absolutely diabolical. That's not even a family anymore, that's a whole class. But in all seriousness, how do you get the money to take care of all those kids? These people must be loaded.
And photos of the home that they and their children lived in. David and Louise got married in 1985 when David was 23 years old and Louise was only 16.
Is that even legal?
And because of their religion, they believed that they needed to bring as many children into the world as possible, so they got to work and had 13 kids. However, despite the fact the family looked happy from the outside, this could not be further from the truth. For years, David and Louise would falsely imprison the children in their rooms, performing a variety of different horrendous acts, only ever allowed them to eat once a day and bathe once a year.
How is that even possible? I just know their house was smelly. Surely the police would have heard about this.
Eventually, on January 14th, 2018, a 17-year-old daughter of theirs ended up escaping, calling the police, and they were caught. They received 25 years to life. This case really goes to show that even though things might look okay from the outside, sometimes they're not.
To be honest, what else were the parents of these kids expecting? Like if I was the kid, the second I turned 18 I would be running as fast as a cheetah to the police. Because you're literally not giving your kids their basic rights. To be honest, I think they deserved a lifetime in jail for what they did, but at least nobody dies. If you thought the last story was bad, it gets even worse, because this next parents literally drove over their poor daughter. And the daughter didn't even do anything. The dad was being irresponsible and doing naughty things in his car.
After getting in a wreck, a dad would leave his daughter in the road fighting for her life while he made a quick getaway. On January 11th, Elliot Benny was driving in Bixby along with his wife and their 3 kids, one of which is 16-year-old Shelby Benny. According to Shelby's mom, they were in a heated argument and he was going around 70 in a no-pass zone. They get into a wreck and it's a rollover, and this sends Shelby out of the car. Witnesses rush over after the crash and they saw Elliot standing there disoriented, and they asked if everyone was okay, and he just fled the scene, leaving his daughter fighting for her life in the road.
This is such a horrible thing for you to do, especially to your own kid. If it was my kid lying in the middle of the road, I would be screaming in fear. especially if it was a car crash that just happened.
He'd flee to his local family-owned business, get a car, and then 12 hours later he'd be found and arrested in a nearby town. Elliot had a history of leaving accident sites. He had done this 3 times but never served any prison time. In the car, police found an open bottle of vodka, and Elliot did admit that he had been drinking and took a big gulp of vodka prior to driving. Sadly, Shelby would pass from this, but her siblings and her mom would be okay.
At least some of the other kids are okay. But if I was their sibling, I would be so mad at the dad for being so irresponsible. Nobody wants to grow up hearing that their own dad take their sibling's life. And the fact he drove away just meant he wasn't sorry at all.
Shelby was a cheerleader, and in a post on Facebook made by her team, they said she was a hardworking athlete and that she will be missed and she was loved by everyone.
This is honestly such a heartbreaking story, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. This next story gets a bit creepier as her mom does some very strange things. Like staring into your soul across the room? Yeah, no thanks.
Imagine seeing your mom standing in the middle of the living room staring at you in silence. You ask her, why are you home so early? You weren't supposed to be home until next week. But she just keeps reassuring you that everything is fine. That's when you get a FaceTime call from your mom, asking you what's wrong and why do you look so scared. But if that's your mom calling you, then who's this woman standing in front of you right now, still staring at you with that eerie smile on her face? This short film is called Mama Agnes. And even though the entire runtime is less than 3 minutes, I still found it to be incredibly suspenseful and interesting. So definitely check out Mama Agnes and follow for more.
Why is she smiling like that? It's making me scared. But based on what we've covered before, I'd say that woman is probably a shapeshifter or a skinwalker. Apparently there's something that happens next, but it's so scary they had to cut it out. And I'm unsure if this is based off a true story or not, but if it is, then yikes. The next story is about parents that are super scary. They are also known as the screaming parents. So let's find out what made them so scary.
This is the scary story about the screaming parents. There was a young boy named Chris who was in his room late one night when he suddenly heard his parents screaming. He then jumped out of bed and went over to his bedroom door, but suddenly stopped. Chris was too scared to open the door and didn't know what to expect. His parents were still screaming. Then suddenly the screaming stopped. Chris then opened his door and went to his parents' bedroom. When he got there, he froze in horror at what he saw. On the bed lay both of his parents dead, with their dog completely mutilating their throats. The dog then stopped and turned his head to look at Chris. Its fur completely covered in blood and had a fountain of blood dripping from its mouth.
And this is why we never let dogs inside the house. But I would honestly be scarred for life if I walked in on this, especially as a small child. Like, what do you even do in this situation? If you made it to the end, make sure to like and subscribe, and comment parents to confuse the others.